We did have a moment last night where the players briefly entertained the idea of burning down a stable to solve a problem.
Yeah,
That's a good solution.
And I kind of scolded them a little bit, like, oh, you know, that's not something my Sunday group would ever consider. And then like, they haven't burned any buildings down. I'm like, well, fuck. Now I got to tell them the truth. That's literally how the last session ended. They burned down the building. Yes. So never mind. Just talking out of my ass over here.
It was a vampire den. It wasn't a real building.
We are nothing if not pleased when we can make a liar out of you, Brick Road.
It was a hole in the ground. It was hobbits lived there. It was fine.
Oh, that's right. We got to dive into that vampire den to look for treasure.
Not even a little bit.
No, we got to do it.
Nope.
It's
Lucius
right there in
doesn't
the
have
bylaws.
boots. Lucius is not of a mind to go diving into anything.
What happened to Lucius's boots?
They got burned when we lit the halfling house on fire.
He took his boots off, and then we burnt the house down.
That was don't burn a house down if your boots are inside.
I always say that. I say that every day.
It was absolutely non-consensual about the burning of this.
Am I gonna have to pick up skilled so I can take craft leatherworking to replace this party's continually diminishing supply of boots? Because it's sounding like that.
I think it'd be cheaper if you just made a bag of holding and filled it with boots.
See,
I do actually have the bag right now.
Just carry spare boots.
The problem is, you reach in the bag of holding, you can never get two boots that match.
That doesn't sound like a problem to me.
It's a cursed bag of holding.
You're always
Every
getting
boot.
two left boots.
Yeah, you always pull out the left boot.
And we put in no boots.
Just dump the bag upside down and be like, just empty everything.
Where do the boots come from?
So what you have to do is you have to tie the laces together when you put them inside the bag.
Oh, that's actually really smart.
That's going to be the final boss of the campaign, is a shoemaker who keeps having his boots disappear on him.
It's gonna be like an evil alliance with that lady that got sent to prison, and like that guy that was running the farm. He just shows up.
Let me just ask this: why is that the evil alliance? I was under the understanding these people were perfectly innocent.
Because they're antagonists.
Well, like, see, it's a start of darkness kind of thing. Like, she was wronged, and now she spent. You don't go into prison and then come out not a criminal. That's not how prison works. Or that is how prison works. However you want to say that. So
that's the opposite of how prison's supposed to work, actually.
I know, but like in theory, it's not supposed to work that way, but it does. You go into prison, you learn all the prison criminal skills, and then you come out.
You learn all those crime skills.
Yeah, you get +8 to crimes if you've been in prison.
Treble's been on the inside. He knows. Treble did his nickel.
Session has also elements of 100-word summary, so I don't know how he's going to cut this.
I'm just gonna cut it, and then we're just gonna talk about the 100. We're gonna do the 100-word summary. When Brick says, anybody have a 100-word summary?"
Yeah, I'm not saying
I
that.
thought we got 50. I thought it was 2 sendings.
What is your 100-word summary, Treble?
We got breathed on by a dragon, and we burnt down a house with heads of vampire halflings after we were very, very tired and told them that
vampire halfling children.
Seeker was very clear that he was in no mood. He said it multiple times.
Lucius is also in no mood. He is still in no mood.
Very, very little happened with the dragon. It was just a very chill exchange. We don't even need to talk about it.
So what are you doing with this burned down house? I mean, it's still actively burning right now.
Anybody got any marshmallows?
Damn, son.
I can't imagine we can do much with it still burning if we're going to end up doing anything with it.
So, do you think? How long do you think they were vampires? Because, and do you think? And what was that other guy like, so Burkert, I have a question for you. Like, is there any kind of authority that you could report something like this to?
Hawthorne
Like,
House, I'd
crime?
imagine.
Not really. I mean, you could go back to Dunfoss and see if there's anybody there who would listen.
Well, I mean, like, this is technically like the part of the kingdom of Dunfoss, isn't it?
Well, I would think, okay, if you're looking for, like, who you can talk to, I would imagine to be one of those patrolling groups of the military, right?
Yeah. Well, okay.
But I don't know what the legal standing of vampires in Dunfossian law is.
Right. That's why I'm asking. Like if we, it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, we killed some vampires. Is there a reward?
Don't
The
really have
reward
proof
is you
of
didn't
it,
become
do
a
we?
vampire, son.
Hey, I have a question. Quick question.
Mhm.
What proof do we have that we killed vampires rather than an old lady and a child?
Yeah,
children.
that's kind of what I'm thinking here.
There was a
that
little
they-
girl and a little boy.
Well, they had fangs in their mouth, but also their skeletons disintegrated, so we don't really have proof one way or the other.
I thought there was a little girl, an old lady, and a little boy.
Yeah,
There was.
There were three.
Sure.
The old lady,
Yeah.
little girl, little boy.
Yeah.
Who recommended this place to us?
That would be the guy who claimed he was the old lady's son, I think. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
And he was out in broad daylight, so he wasn't a vampire.
He's probably like a thrall. I don't know. Vampires have thralls, right?
I mean, he was
I don't know.
definitely a smuggler. We figured that much out.
I'm kind of confused. I kind of wish we had looked at what he was smuggling now.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to what he was smuggling. I think that's worth looking into when we get back to town. Hopefully, he hasn't been home to find.
Was there an underground? Was there like a cellar or anything, or was this entirely above ground? It was built into a hill, right? It was a hobbit house.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was built into a hill.
Okay.
There were burrow
How
levels
long
below.
do I think it'll take before this is safe to see if we can maybe find any underground passageways or whatever? How long until it's burnt itself out to some degree?
Probably not more than an hour or two. But as far as safe, I mean, there were vampires down there. So
Right.
We probably should look in on it.
I think we should take a short rest, and then after an hour or two, once we're pretty sure that no more of it is going to collapse and maybe there's no fires, we should see if there's any underground passages or anything.
Alternately,
Yeah.
we're not adventurers. We collapse the entrance and we report it to the guards on our way home.
Okay, now look.
Nobody's paying us for this secret.
And
I had to
yeah,
kill
he does have a
3
point.
vampires. If I don't get something from this, the whole day is ruined.
We got something from this. We got that magic chain.
Let me see that chain.
Do you want to spend the short rest identifying the chain?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to spend at least 10 minutes identifying the chain.
I do not have any hit dice left, so that's fun.
go ahead and take the benefits of the short rests. I remember one of you got bit. Do not reset your hit point maximum.
Yeah, that was me. Don't worry.
Okay.
I got it right here. I think I'm going to spend 10 minutes identifying the chain, and then I'm going to spend 10 minutes identifying myself. See what the hell is going on with this weakness I've got.
Scrappy is fun.
Maybe Florian should spend the time identifying you while you identify the chain.
Does that
Right.
work?
We've only
I
got
think
the
we only
one
have one pearl. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Do you
So
have to
we
take a
can't-
short rest, Florian?
No.
Maybe I'll take a short rest, you identify the stuff, and if you don't feel like you got a good look at it, I'll give it my divination expertise.
So, identifying the chain. When you affix this chain to a door and close the chain and speak the command word, it locks the door as though with an arcane lock.
Ooh.
To be clear, any kind of stuff like this that goes onto the party sheet, if it's actually like a potion or whatever, have at it. If it's weird shit like this or the beads, if it stays on the party sheet for more than 5 seconds, I'm putting it in Seeker's inventory.
I think we
Seeker
just
loves
found.
weird stuff.
I think we just found our new security system for the boat. What do you think, guys?
I mean, there's multiple doors entering into the boat.
And how do we set it so that...
Oh, and
Do we have to use like a command word?
when Seeker cast Identify, he learned the command word for this lock.
Okay. I mean, we could use it for the hatch below doors, but then we'd also have to seal off everyone's windows if we really want to make the boat a little more secure.
I'll also point out that
or we
actually disabling the lock wasn't that difficult. You guys literally just disassembled it.
I mean,
But we were on the inside. I mean, this is someone coming in from the outside would have a much harder time.
That's true.
So normally the arcane lock spell lets you set a password. Does it always have to be the same password as the command word, or can you set a password as per normally?
I don't care at all.
Okay, great.
However you want to do it, my friend.
That'll come up somehow. Don't worry.
Am I gonna regret saying that?
probably. I already regret it. Okay, we've been paid. Let's go. Not adventurers.
But it's
Tom
so
Wolfe
inviting.
seconds that idea. He says that this is only going to lead to more and more danger. And there's already a long road back to Dunfoss.
I mean, Alex is all in favor of taking a look in the ruins after the
Seeker's
out.
vote is for going in there because I mean we already found a magic lock. Who knows what else we'll find?
I think that's a logical fallacy. I just don't remember which one. So just assume that you're wrong.
I never assume that.
Lucius, Florian, what do you say?
I could go either way. Maybe there's some bedrooms down below that have an extra pair of boots.
I will give you my boots if we
What
don't
about you,
go down
Florian?
there.
You want to go? You want to go look for whatever crazy stuff is going on down there?
Yeah, I'm curious.
All right, that's 3-4, one in the middle, and one against. Sorry, Tom, you don't get a vote because we saved you from the pit.
Fair enough.
Gus walks and he just he does that that childish thing where he punches a tree or something and he just curses in Dwarven. And he looks at Seeker and says, "I hate you."
Tom says you can stay out here with him.
No, Gus, we need you to go first.
We can send Scrappy first.
Okay, Gus, we need you to go second.
Going back
or
into
in the behind.
And
Going back
I'll
into
look
the
at-
wreckage of the house, it was just like the main foyer area, the sitting room that you guys went into, that was built like a standard building on the outside of this hill. That's the part that's almost entirely burned down now, just a shell of blackened, charred wood and some crumbled foundation remains, and you can't even discern where the undead are. They've been thoroughly disintegrated by the bright sunlight at this point. You do identify the two entrances into the main sitting room. One goes back into a dining area, behind which is a kitchen. Rooting through those areas where the main sitting room was made to look at least somewhat homey, even though there was no fire lit and there was dust everywhere and it hadn't been cleaned. The dining area, the kitchen looked completely untouched. There's no actual food stocked back there. The other entrance goes down into the burrow areas, which would be where the family's residences were. This is more or less still intact, but you do have to kind of excavate broken bits of wood and charred furniture and things out of the way before the staircase is walkable. And you feel an unearthly chill from below. And Gus is going second, is that correct?
Yes.
Or last.
I'll go second. It's fine.
Is anybody in this party familiar with halflings on the main? No? Nobody knows what a halfling is. Okay, so for all you know, these are
What do
just
you mean
3
by
regular halflings.
Okay.
Just those we've seen around the city.
Okay.
I'll say Seeker probably knows about forest halflings because they probably live in the same city as the Gnomish one that he comes from.
Okay.
But like,
I mean, I definitely know, basics about halflings. Like, I'm sure I have some halfling friends.
Okay. Going around to the
Halfling professors.
I'm not racist. I've got halfling friends.
uh
You went there.
They're this tall.
they're half friends.
Look, they're taller than me.
That's true.
I am the shortest possible height for an adult gnome.
Have you met a halfling gnome? Going down, the difference between like a gnomish or dwarven domicile underground and a halfling one is the halfling one will be made to be like the apex of comfort. They have they're renowned for having very stately is the wrong word. That's the one that immediately comes to mind. But you could go down into a halfling hole, the place that they've made bright and cheery and comfortable, and never know that you are underground. All of those comforts have been torn out down here. You see where doors have been ripped off and replaced. You see where carpeting has been pulled up. You see where some passages have been crudely bricked over. And nothing remains of comfort or hominess or value. However, you do find a second level that looks to have been widened out and opened. And this is where the unearthly chill is coming from. Because you kind of stand on the precipice between what once was this comfortable halfling domicile and what is now very clearly a crypt. And looking about the walls, you see in the walls are recesses. And there are 12 recesses. 4 of them contain very plain, halfling-sized wooden coffins. 3 of those coffins are open, and those open coffins contain some quantity of earth. 1 of the coffins remains closed. The other 8 recesses are empty.
Seeker, what do you know about halflings? Or about vampires?
Like, Gus puts his finger to his mouth and says, shh. Quietly.
Mm-hmm.
Lucius has a big old pile of nope written all over his face.
So I have one solution to this problem, right? I cast levitate on that coffin. We roll it upstairs, open that shit up. We call it a day.
This is a good idea. I like it. Like, I think this is legitimately a good idea.
Yeah. Alex is nodding.
Lucius
Alright.
nods
As
too.
well.
All right. I want 2 of you standing by this coffin with a stake, just in case. And then Seeker's going to cast levitate on the coffin.
Okay. And there's a soft thunking sound as the coffin lifts up and then hits the top of the recess that it's sitting in.
And we're just going to gently kind of move it out up the stairs.
You guys
So there's
very gingerly get the coffin out without upending it. There's no sense of how heavy it is because it's levitating.
Yeah.
So
You
let's get it upstairs, and then let's all get about 30 feet away from it, and I'll have Scrappy open it.
When you as you're coming out of the burnt out shell of the house, Tom scrambles up to his feet, leaning on his cane, and just his eyes get wide. He just shakes his head, no, back and forth.
Whisper like,
Why?
Shh.
Tom, there's even odds on there being a vampire in here, or this being that sucker who's out in the light.
And then what happens?
Yeah, we bring it out about 30 feet out into the fields, and everyone else gets back, and we have Scrappy open the coffin.
Okay.
Turn it upside down. Can you turn things upside down with levitate?
No. I could lift one
I
end
think
of it.
I think we want it to be
Flip
up
it over.
right side up, so sunlight comes into it, as opposed to being like a shield against it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like if you just dump it out on the ground. That's what I was going for.
Yeah, we
No.
can. We lift it
We'll
up.
turn it
into
upside
the air.
down after it's open.
Yeah.
Okay. And Scrappy tears off part of the lid of the coffin, and it clatters to the grass.
Right. And if we don't hear any sizzling, I'm gonna kind of gingerly lift up one end of it so we can look in.
As you lift it up, earth starts spilling out of it.
All right. So I think we've got one vampire missing. That definitely seems like something we should look into.
Was that the only area that like had anything of interest downstairs?
Yeah, you guys went through all of the rooms. It's just
Okay.
what would have been bedrooms, living rooms, dining rooms, and things of that nature down there. Like there was a wine cellar, but all of it, anything of value or beauty or comfort has been removed from the place.
No
Can
corpse
I
inside this coffin at all.
What was the question?
No corpse at all inside this coffin.
Well, right now the coffin is kind of sitting almost vertically, and earth is spilling out of it. Nobody's done more investigation than that. What was Alex's question?
Oh, no, it's fine then.
Okay.
I'm going
I say we
to
open it up all the way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the crowbar from
Okay.
Alex, and then I'm going to tell him to kind of Scrappy get one end of the, and I get the other, and we both just jerk off the remainder of the lid at the same time.
Okay. You jerk off the
You know, I
coffin. Seeker
I
uploads it to
could make you
Pornhub.
one of those if you need one, Gus.
No, it's fine.
Dig around in there like we're looking for dinosaur bones.
You pour out some quantity of earth onto the ground, and then there's like a dull flop sound as something hits the ground, and then earth kind of partially covers it.
What are
I'm
we
going-
looking at?
It looks like a severed hand.
See, that's not ideal.
Human-sized or halfling-sized?
Human-sized. And this is definitely a halfling-sized coffin.
Is there anything else in there besides the severed hand?
How thorough are we being? Like, are you getting down and rooting through the earth that you've poured out?
I have gloves.
Yeah, I think we'll be thorough. Like, call it like a few minutes.
Okay.
Just like kind of sift our fingers through it.
Sifting through it for a few moments, and it's almost feels like frozen soil that is quickly thawing out. The difference is that you don't actually see like a layer of frost anywhere on it, but it has that kind of crunchiness to it as you're going through it. And it looks like this severed hand is the only thing of note.
Should we go and do the same with all the other 3 dirt piles in those coffins?
No, absolutely, because like I don't know super much how it works, but I do know vampires sometimes return to the coffin. Let's just bring them all out here, put them in the light. If they want to return to them, more power to them. They're gonna be stuck out here in the light.
So this hand it's human sized. It doesn't look like it's been cut off. It looks like it's been torn off.
Does
Is
it
it
have a
decayed?
ring on it or like anything identifiable?
Doesn't have any adornments and no jewelry. It's got gray skin and black, very sharp pointed nails.
Who's our medicine guy?
I guess Gus. He's trained in medicine.
Can you tell how long this has been here? Assuming this thing died like normally?
Probably not. It's undead. It looks to be an undead dead hand.
Yeah, can I
I'll say
make an
we use-
Arcana check on it to see what kind of creature it might have come from?
It's definitely a human hand with
Okay,
sharpish
it's just
kind of
black
claws.
and sharpy. Okay.
It doesn't smell of decay. It's almost like it's been mummified. It's not seeping liquid or anything.
All right.
It's not the grossest severed hand you've probably ever seen.
So, thoughts from Gus. We have a fire over there. I think we should throw the hand in
Yep.
the fire.
Absolutely.
Before we do that, I want to identify it just to make sure that it's not going to do anything crazy if we throw it into the fire.
L-
While the rest of you maybe carry those coffins up
Yeah.
here.
Sure.
I think
Alright.
do we want the coffin or just the? Because without another levitate, it's going to be a lot of work to get the coffins up. Though I guess Scrappy can carry a lot of it.
Scrappy and Gus can do it. It's
I have
just
nothing but faith in Scrappy and Gus.
Okay. I'll supervise.
There's not a large quantity of earth in any of the other coffins, because there would need to be enough physical space for the 3 halflings to climb in there and sleep.
Okay.
And it's, you're bringing all the rest of the coffins upstairs and destroying them. Is that the idea?
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Okay. And you do that, and there's nothing of value in the other coffins. What's happening with this
And
hand?
I just want to cast Identify on it to make sure it doesn't have any kind of weird magical properties before we
Okay.
toss it in the fire.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
You got it. Is this against magic or a spell?
This is against magic. Well, you should just ask, is this against magic or a spell?
That's how Destil always
That's how
said
it's
it, and I
worded.
always
That's how
respect
it's worded.
It's a spell, but it's not magic. Figure that one out, fuckers!
Psionic.
Ah,
God, you got me.
that's a 17.
How'd you do?
17. Or 18.
You cast Identify on the hand. You're concentrating on it. And then for some reason, you feel this icy fear grip the back of your throat. And before you even know what you're doing, you throw it to the ground in front of you. And you realize that you have broken out in a sweat. You're breathing very raggedly. Who else was upstairs when this happened beside Tom?
Lucius would have been.
Lucius, here's what you saw. You and Florian, you saw Seeker take up this hand and hold it for a moment. You've seen him cast Identify before. It takes a little while sometimes.
Yep.
But he didn't blink for almost a full minute. And it was just about to start worrying you, and then he suddenly exhales sharply and snaps out of it and thrusts his hand onto the ground in front of him.
Take it you didn't get anything from it?
It's got this sort of like evil aura to it. I almost wonder if we should bring it with us and show it to a priest.
Nope. This is where we're not adventurers. Up until this point, I think Gus has been wrong. At this point, I think the we're not adventurers is completely correct. We throw it in the fire and we leave.
Well, we need to understand where it came from. Adventurers would just throw it on a fire. We need to know why it's here.
Nope.
I'm in agreement with Seeker, honestly.
We can throw it on the fire, and we could just say that's our good deed for the day.
It tried to attack Seeker's mind. What happens if we bring it back to a populated area with people with much weaker minds than Seeker?
That's why I was saying we bundle it up and we bring it to a priest.
Bundle it up.
I know a
and
good
what?
one. They owe me a favor.
So what, cheesecloth? Is that what you put a vampire hand in?
I mean, most things you want magic to stay away from you put in a lead box. But I don't have a lead box on hand.
Why didn't you make Scrappy out of lead?
There's some lead in him, but if I were to remove that, he would not be able to work his rear legs.
What level do you add the optional lead compartment?
Lead-lined container.
Safely containing unholy relics.
Okay, there is one thing. If we want to camp out tomorrow morning, I could make a bag of Wait, hey Tom, do you have a bag of holding today?
Tom does not.
Okay, if we want to camp out, Tom or I could create a bag of holding to put it in.
We're already like a few days away. I don't know if that's gonna make any
So
difference.
tomorrow morning, yeah, so after we camp tonight, I can make a bag of holding, we can put it in that, and then I'm pretty sure if you slash the bag of holding, it's just gone forever.
That sounds like a problem solved to me.
Who knows what crypts we may find tomorrow?
I mean,
But
Once you guys
I would
removed the coffins from that room, did it still have that chill to it?
Yeah, it was chilly down there, and it was a
I wanted
supernatural
to do an
undead
investigate
kind of
check after we had all the coffins out to see if there's anything else of interest in that crypt.
No, going
Yeah.
through the room, I mean, it's just
Okay.
they've carved recesses into the stone where these there's 12 total. There were only 4 coffins, and 3 of them were empty. One of them contained his hand.
so Gus is going to look at Seeker, and he's going to be like, you know what? Nope. And he's going to take his spear, and he's going to start flicking the hand to the fire. Like,
no,
without touching
stop.
it. And he's just doing it.
I'm not going to stop him. I mean, I think Seeker has me on his side at this point, but not to that degree.
Does anybody stop Gus from flicking the hand into the fire?
I'd really rather you not, but I mean, I can't physically stop you because I have a strength of 6. So
Well, you can
I'm really
just
grumpy. I'm really grumpy about that.
you can stoop down and pick up the hand.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Lucius, add an incredibly evil vampire hand to your character sheet so we all know it's in your
Excellent.
inventory. This way, next
Excellent.
session, we all know whose fault it is.
I mean, lots of things are already Lucius's fault. What's
It's
more
going to get
important, let's
removed
be
from your
honest.
inventory tomorrow morning. Possibly
Yeah.
because it crawled away during the night.
Yeah.
Tom
Alright,
suggests you look for
so-
some more crypts. Maybe the next one you'll find a foot. After a few adventures, you can put the whole man back together.
I knew there was a reason I liked you, Tom.
Seeker pauses for a moment considering the idea.
Your sarcasm is not helpful.
We would have to pay it a
some
lot
item.
less than Kevin.
We
Incredibly.
don't pay Kevin.
I mean, the
Kevin
flip
Kevin
side to
makes
that,
room
though,
and
is
board.
that
Oh, I guess he wouldn't make room and board.
We pay Kevin and talk
Wait.
back.
How do vampires need to eat? Like, I know they like to eat, but do they need to eat?
Tom says yes. Of course they eat. What are you talking about?
There's a difference between...
They eat people. They eat people like us.
That is a
But
definite downside.
if you don't eat for a month and you're a vampire, do you die again?
I sure hope so.
Me too, but like if they only eat because they like to eat.
Gus looks at Tom and says, "Tom, where are you going again? Is there room? Can I come too?"
Tom says, "Listen, I knew this cat in high school, Simon. He had to find 5 vampire parts and throw them into a big fire. It was a whole thing."
Speaker pulls out an empty sack from his backpack and holds it open to put the hand in.
I'll drop it in there.
Okay.
And then he wraps the chain around it and locks it shut.
Okay.
Good call. I'll carry it if you don't want to.
Go ahead.
Okay, incredibly evil vampire hand added to my character sheet after like 6 attempts.
Safely locked away.
Alright, adding that note to the character sheet as well.
It is just technically an evil hand that may belong to a vampire. We don't know. It may have...
Listen, there is strong empirical evidence that this hand belongs to a vampire. And I'm going to just gesture at the coffin, and then the burning house, and then the hole in the ground.
Okay. Now, I don't know about you people, but I'm in serious need of footwear and a bath.
Yeah, I say we start our way back.
Okay.
Why the heck is that room cold? Doesn't make any sense to me.
The water cycle. Let's go.
Alright.
He's just like, plate tectonics. We're out of here. Thankfully,
Aurora Borealis.
the rest of the journey back to Dunfoss is uneventful.
How much is a
And
carrot?
yeah, after the first night, we're gonna have Tom make a bag of holding out of that sack and put the hand in that.
Okay. I need to make sure I save the badger to our city table.
What is how much is a carriage? Because I'm assuming Tom doesn't have any money.
No, Tom's got nothing right now.
All right. Like, how much is a carriage? Where
What
was he
date
going?
is it when we get back? I've kind of lost track of time.
It is...
Oh
it
shit!
would be the 11th.
If you guys want to pull off any nonsense, today's the day.
Why is that?
I
Oh.
rolled 2 20s on my foresight die.
Hey, do you want to come with me to hide and cot and see if I can if they have that gun ready for me?
No, like we should. Like, what do you know about us getting into dwarvish houses?
I feel like it's an especially prophetous day.
So the first
So it's
question
the
is, I think 2 things very importantly need to be dealt with. First of all, what do you do with Tom Wolfe?
We give him. Do we have how much? How much is a carriage to where he's going? So he doesn't want to be here. He wants to be east, right? He wants to go east.
He was
Here's
planning
the
to
thing,
head north through the woods.
Okay, how there's a city up north, right? How much is a carriage up there for him to recuperate? He doesn't want to recuperate in Dunfoss.
He would if he knew it was safe. He doesn't. The thing is, he doesn't know whether or not the Blackjackets are looking for him.
I mean, he could go down to the Black Jacket office and ask, I suppose.
Wow, that's a really dumb
That's
idea.
a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a
we
really
did-
stupid idea.
I mean, I can tell Tom, what we told the Moss Caps. Because my impression is they probably consider it a closed case, but if someone wants to go down to the office and kind of maybe try and socially engineer out if that's the truth or not.
Okay. So I mean, one option is like Gus says, is find a trade caravan or something leaving out of Dunfoss, heading north, slip them a couple of gold and see if they'll take them with. Another option would be to try to find a bolt hole in Dunfoss to put him in to make sure that nobody's looking for him. Another idea is just to hold him under the water until the bubbles stop. I mean, it's really your guys' call.
You offer that idea?
So here's the thing. I thought we were going to see about commissioning him to take the chain monster thing back south to Blue Worm.
But we never got a chain monster thing.
You have to capture one first.
We'd have to go get it. We'd have to bring the chest
The
back
cage.
up north. It'd be a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm
how
willing to
many
do
days
that.
of
I
travel
just
did we have, by the way?
I'm sorry, what?
How many days of travel was there to get back here? Sorry, it's important for
It's
upkeep.
the 11th.
About a day and a half. So it's the
Okay.
11th when you guys get back.
Okay.
I'm willing to make the trip back up there to capture that thing.
Hey, Seeker, you have another vial of acid.
Fantastic. Well, here's what I'm doing with my day, and you guys can make your plans around that. At least to start, I'm bringing this horrible hand to the Temple of Garl Glittergold. And I'm going to find out what they've got to tell me about it.
I'm sufficiently curious about this hand as well.
As
So,
am I.
Seeker, before you go off on that, we also have to give the lady her crystal ball back so I can get my badge.
I dumped that off before we left because I was worried about it getting lost.
All
All
right,
right.
so we should deal with Tom first, in my opinion. My thought is he can hang out in the boat.
We do have a hidden compartment.
We have a secret compartment. I mean, Kevin and Linda are both very reliable. It doesn't have to be obvious that he's coming back with us. He can just wear a cloak or whatever when he comes through the city. Give him a day to figure out what we want to do. I think we should have one person go and talk to the moss caps about that place we cleared out and see if maybe they can drill up any information about whether or not that's an ongoing investigation or they consider it closed. And I'm going to look very meaningfully at Lucius for this because that's his wheelhouse.
Mhm.
I think the other thing we can do is... was it? Sorry.
To be clear, I'm going to run everyone through this before we go in there.
Mhm.
If anybody asks why Tom is with us or who he is, he was visiting his friend's cabin. He got attacked by ogres and thrown in a hole. We rescued him. All of those are true and will hold up under a truth spell. Keep it simple, keep it true.
Got it.
Is that Seeker's motto? Like,
Seeker's motto is the best way to fool someone is to tell them the truth. If you have to be creative with the truth, that's fine, but it's easy to remember the truth.
so for the time being, we're dropping Tom off at the barge while you guys run some errands.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got Seeker, Florian, and Lucius are going to the Temple of Garl Glittergold. What is Alex doing?
Alex is going to head over to Heidenkotz and see if they have that musket I ordered.
And what about Gus?
Gus is just going to stay at the barge, I think.
Okay.
There's nothing really.
Hey, Gus. Actually, I want you to do something. I made a water breathing cap today. I want you to go down to those boxes and make sure they're still intact and safe.
Okay. I'll do that then.
And then the new password was just gargle, because the other one seemed to be causing some problems.
Can the word gargle?
Gargle, yeah. That's the command word.
You can gargle the word gargle.
Okay.
Don't worry, it only does something if you're actually underwater, so you can say gargle outside of water as much as you want.
Okay.
And I hand you my fedora with the fishbone mock feather in it.
I guess after that, if I have time, I would make a scroll.
You can make a scroll as a downtime action today if you want.
Yeah. Because it won't take long to go check on that, I guess.
It takes resources, though, I think.
Yeah, it's just gold and it's 25 gold.
Yep. Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a few days ago, while you were traveling, Heidenkotz received word. So refresh your memory, what was the actual pitch? You were going to supply...
I supplied him with the market value of the gun in acid, and he was going to... I originally wanted him to make me a gun, but he doesn't have any on hand, so he said he could trade for it.
Okay. He has a contact outside of Dunfoss.
Mm-hmm.
He asks, sort of disparagingly, there's some contempt to it. He asks if you are familiar with the GIF.
The GIF?
As a species.
Yeah, no, I totally heard stories as a child of the GIF being like my family's greatest allies against the Lithids.
No, not them.
Oh, the GIF. I misheard you there, Hyde. No, I don't. Wait, get with an F? 2 Fs?
2 Fs, and maybe a PH on the end. They're a funny lot.
Pronounced Jiff.
No, I've never heard
not.
of them.
It says they're the most mercenary creatures you can imagine. On one hand, that means if you're paying them, you can count them to do just about anything. On the other hand, that means that you can very rarely count on them to do anything.
Right, someone else could pay them more.
But they're hard-headed, they've got thick skin, and they've got a great love of dragon powder. He shows you a schematic showing a very finely crafted gun, similar to the one that you were going to ask him to commission. He says that he has a contact. There have been times in the past where dragon powder was difficult to get a hold of, and you'll never get him to admit that he smuggled it.
Right.
But these GIF are known to be good suppliers of it. If you give them enough gold, they can always find some. And they're also the only people dense enough in the head to use firearms commonly. However, unless he's and his platoon is the word they use. It's not even a real word, if you ask me.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Unless they've been hired on to come into the city and do a job, he refuses to enter into the kingdom, into the walls proper. I've arranged everything. All you'll have to do is travel out to go meet him.
How far out?
Let's get the map back out here. I should probably just save a copy of this map because we've been using it a little more often lately. Okay. So there's this crossroads inn outside of Dunfoss out here.
Yeah.
That's where he and his platoon are stationed for the time being. It's all arranged, it's all taken care of. He just won't bring his people into the city.
How is that a day's travel? 2 days?
Each hex on this map is 6 miles, so you can go 5 hexes along a road in 1 day.
So just over a day's travel.
So you probably get there and stay overnight and come back the next day.
Okay, yeah. Is that any faster if I have a mount?
Yeah, considerably.
Scrappy's got a move speed of 40 and is a medium creature with a saddle.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, I guess that's what I'm doing. I'll have to report it back to the others. But thanks, Hyancott. Glad I can come through. Let me know. I've been working on a couple other syntheses. Let me know if there's anything you ever need, by the way, because I always enjoy alchemy work. It's really relaxing.
Is there anything else you need from Hyancott?
Nope.
I'm trying to find this character's name, but I think I opened up the wrong notes. So I might just go to fantasynamegenerators.com. The best website that I know.
Lies.
I don't know a better one.
Wow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I accidentally opened up the Kenku name generator, but it inadvertently gave me the perfect name for a GIF NPC.
Yep.
Dino Stomp.
Yep.
But
That adds up.
Yep. I'd like to point out that McDohl is correct because the Space Jam website's still online.
I also want to pronounce that the Kenku name Dino Stomp is pronounced.
I like that everybody laughs, and then 2 seconds later we hear McDoll's like belly guffaw.
Shut up.
Gus,
Oh, you know it was a good one.
Yeah.
you put on this fedora, and you speak the command word, and you go out into the ocean to check on these boxes. Why are you going to check on these boxes?
I have no idea. I was asked to.
Love this. It's like Destil just tells us to do things and he doesn't really explain why.
So these boxes supposedly contain some kind of fire magic, and you guys never opened them. They were sealed, and you took them off of your barge and just dropped them into the ocean.
Inside other larger boxes.
Inside other larger boxes. So what are you actually doing when you get there, Gus?
I'm making sure the boxes that I'm making sure the outer boxes are intact.
As far as you can tell, they were like wooden crates.
No, they were metal crates.
Okay. I mean, they're just laying there more or less where you left them, as far as you can tell.
All right, I give them the
Everything's
old
okay.
finger guns and turn around and go make my scroll.
All right.
Nailed it.
Give them the old finger guns. Seeker, Florian, and Lucius.
Yeah.
So you go to the Temple of Garl Glittergold.
Yeah.
And how does this play out?
I'm going to ask to speak to the head priest we talked to before.
All right, Karen.
Oh my god.
Wow. Nodal
It's
is
like-
speechless. It finally happened.
It's like everything I hate about the real world.
It's...
I'm sorry. I'll go
I don't
sit
know
the
that I
corner
get
now.
it.
I'll go sit the corner now.
Listen, I saw Nodal in January. That's exactly what his hair looks like.
Oh, my hair's real bad at the moment.
Do you explain to the priests what you're about to show them?
Yeah, I explained to the priests that, like, hey, we found this hand, and it was giving this powerful evil aura. We thought you might want to take a look at it. And as far as I'm concerned, you owe me the opposite of tithe, because I've been doing some good frickin' works for your god. I've got this story. I won't make the others listen to it. They were there. But it's a good one.
Oh,
I'm conscious for most of it.
Seeker, before you would have left, Gus would have asked you to ask them about the water too, the evil curse water that we took a jar of.
The
Yeah.
full curse water is 100%. I brought it along as well.
Okay.
And we think somebody may have, or rather, this water seems to cause aging in whatever flesh it's touched to, and I was hoping there was some way to reverse it.
Y'all are consistently dumping some heavy shit on the Temple of Garl Glittergold.
Listen, I might be like an avatar of this god, because I have had to go out there, I've had to do good works with trickery, which I was not expecting. And today I woke up and I'm pretty sure that I could toss like 100 straight die and have them all come up sixes.
I mean, all I gotta say
this
is
the day.
this is just revenge for Alex being raised in this church for like 20 years. Like,
The priests concur with you that there are a great many dark and evil things in the world, and as long as you continue to seek them out, you will continue to find them. And the House of Garl Glittergold would be appreciative if you would stop bringing them here.
I'm sure you would.
Do you have any suggestions on where else we could bring them?
They suggest destroying them, if possible.
Thing is, we don't really know about how to destroy things like this. This isn't exactly our wheelhouse.
We're all gonna learn together.
So what is your
Seeker
suggestion?
puts an arm around the priest.
Is there any Temple of Bahamut nearby that we can dump this stuff on?
Not in Dunfoss, but there is to the south in Blue Worm.
Sorry.
I mean, look, we also know a priestess of Cthulhu, who is the god of literally binding evil entities that can't be destroyed. Might want to check with her.
Yeah, no, you're right. All I'm saying is I seem to have this special connection with this god, and as far as I can understand, making his priest have a bad day every now and again is probably in the book.
I'm just waiting until how long they figure out that this is a trick Gar Glittergold is playing on them, sending Seeker to their gates every so often.
They suggest that perhaps there's some reason that Garl Glittergold continues to bring these evil objects into Seekers possession, and they wonder whether or not he would be interested in deepening his bond with Garl to better understand why this is happening.
Sure, I'm always interested in finding things out.
Here's their suggestion, then.
Yeah.
Take these objects far away from the temple,
Okay.
and do not bring them back or any other similar objects under any circumstances.
Oh, geez, I don't know that that's gonna work.
So do that. Learn as much as you can about them by whatever means you can, and then find a way to destroy the malevolence in them by using them in harmless tricks and illusions.
See, that sounds like a great plan. Here's my first issue, though, is that I thought to myself long and hard, where can I go to learn about these objects? And I remembered I have this great friend named Garl Glittergold and his priesthood.
I imagine this conversation is a lot of forced grimacing.
Yeah.
They ask, how does Seeker know that he himself is not an acolyte of Garl's teachings?
See, now we're back to where we were before, where I'm pretty sure I'm becoming an avatar of your horseshit god, and I feel like I deserve some recompense for that, because this is not something I looked for.
Red-skinned tiefling man goes white for a second when he says that.
The priest nods, as though he understands your complaints. He says, "It's my belief that Garl Glittergold is bringing these evil things to you because you are the one that needs to cleanse them. And the way to cleanse them is to trick them into not being evil anymore. You must trick this horrific aging water into no longer sapping youth. And you must trick this diabolical hand into not... What does it do?
It causes intense terror.
You have to trick it into not doing that anymore.
What if I gave it, like, the really good trick of, like, setting it on fire? How does that sound? Because that sounds like a gag to me.
They ask if you've tried burning it.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Didn't, because I was hoping that you had some better solution. Now I'm starting to realize your solutions might involve setting things on fire. I'm here for it.
They say definitely, perhaps in a safe location,
Yeah.
away from buildings.
Okay. Yeah,
Perhaps,
away from buildings.
perhaps try setting a fire to it. Make a... let's call it a wisdom saving throw.
I've done that for you if you're
What's
really
this
asking.
wisdom saving throw related to?
Your DM asking you to make it.
Because if it's something that the clerics are doing, I really want to use one of those 20s. That's a 13.
13. As you're kind of coming around to the same page, that maybe you should try burning this hand after all, you realize the priest's arm is around your shoulder,
Yeah.
and you're very briskly walking towards the exit of the temple.
Okay, so one last thing, real quick, before I go. This does sound like some kind of horrible curse. In order for me to promise to never bring this water back into the temple, would you maybe be willing to take a look at someone and see if that's something you can get rid of?
You're asking them, like, to cast a remove curse spell?
I'm asking them to at least look to see if a remove curse spell is warranted. In exchange for not bringing this water back into their temple every so often to show it to people.
They say if you have any acquaintances that have come under the effects of this malevolent water,
Yeah.
all you need to do to cleanse them of this evil is to trick their body into no longer aging. Did Florian have a question?
Florian has a question.
Sure.
Yeah.
So your suggestion is to take the malevolent water,
Yeah.
and to trick it
Yeah.
into not being malevolent water anymore. How does one trick something that is not sentient?
The priest says that they didn't say it was going to be easy. And they wish you the best of luck on your endeavors.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there though. You are going to feel very stupid when I do that, and if you don't help me, you know your god is going to make sure you know about it. It's not my god. Well, I mean, actually, it probably is.
So, Seeker, leaving the temple, you have the jar of terrible evil water in one hand,
Yeah.
and the hand in the other hand.
Yeah.
Now what?
It's like the magical equivalent of
But
walking
you do
up-
have a bag of holding on your belt.
Yeah. I mean, let's go burn this hand. Let's go have a good old time burning the hand.
I have other work to take care of. I have business to take care of.
So Lucius is breaking off to go do what?
I want to find out a couple of things. Like, here's the deal. We have been neglecting our actual investigative work that we have been. We've neglected it for 5 days now.
Yeah, you had stuff to take care of.
Yeah. So I want to try and at least pick up a trail or something of that nature. I want to find out when the new Keyskin ambassador gets into town.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's probably not going to be for a couple months because he's sailing.
Okay. So I just wanted to verify that.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody? Sorry.
You
Then
said you sent a letter to that regard. I think last week or maybe the week before, but haven't received a response yet.
Well, I sent a letter to my father, kind of maybe to do that. So if I haven't received a response for that yet, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making preparations to go and retrieve this chain beast.
Okay, so you're going to go back to the barge and get the big cage that Warlock's Bane left for you?
Yeah.
Does anybody want to meet up at the barge for lunch before we make afternoon actions?
I'll do that.
Oh, Seeker, you could grill up his hand.
It's true. Trick it into becoming lunch.
Gross.
Okay, so everybody returns back to the barge.
How is the are the boxes still intact?
Oh, sorry. Gus is in your he's actually in your workspace making a scroll,
Oh, okay.
and he's just and he gives you a thumbs up and gives you the old finger guns and goes back to work.
Yeah, Alex pulls a lead sheet out of one of the storage bins in his workspace, heads upstairs. Seeker, can you do me a favor? I need to test
Depends on what
something.
the favor is.
I want you to cast Detect Magic, and then see if you can see my crossbow through this lead sheet. I'm pretty sure that doesn't work.
I can do you that exact favor. Although, how thick is the lead sheet?
Like an inch? Or it's a
So
thin
the-
sheet?
Is it exactly an inch?
I thought it was a thin sheet of lead. Out of character.
It's an inch of common metal, so lead, just any amount of lead, should do
Yeah.
the trick.
Yeah, and a thin sheet of lead. Seeker will kind of look at the sheet a little bit and look at it, and then make he's casting Detect Magic. But Seeker also doesn't do useless bullshit. So he'll look at it for a second, say, "Yeah, that's gonna work."
Great. When I get back, I am going to build a set of lead linings for those boxes we have underwater, just in case. Getting a little concerned about that. I have to head to a trading village to pick up a gun. Does anyone want to come with me? And if you do you want to rent a horse?
Is it on the way north?
It's east.
Then I can't make that.
It's going to take me about a day. Probably be back tomorrow evening.
I'll go
Oh,
with
you-
you as long as tomorrow morning.
If I leave tomorrow morning?
Or
Yeah, I
as
can do that.
after I do whatever I'm about to do.
Sure. The other thing is, I take it the priests gave you some bullshit about tricking things into things?
Yeah. So here's the thing, though.
Maybe we should
Think
talk
they
to...
tricked me,
Yeah.
but I'm almost certain that I've started to get a handle on the way this god works,
Right.
and it's going to turn out that that's excellent advice.
I mean, the way I'm seeing it, they're probably just thinking that you're a trick from Gargoyle. Anyway, I think maybe we should give this to Warlock's Bane, or at least ask her opinion on it, or if there's any other priests of her god in the city, because this seems way more like her wheelhouse. And if I've got the rest of today to work on, I'll go with you.
So, I have an opinion on at least on the water. The hand, we should just burn it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Burn the hand.
if we want to get rid of anything, we put it inside the bag of holding and then pierce the bag of
And
holding.
at this point, Kevin walks into the room. He looks upset about something.
Kevin, what's wrong?
Says there's some lady on a horse who's come to see Flumph Inc. I went out to greet her and look after her horse. She sent me in, and she wants me to send your man out. He looks up at Gus. He just looks like he's pouting because apparently he's not good enough to look after this lady's horse, and Gus is.
Like, can I go do this without like? It doesn't have to be 8 hours of continuous work, right?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll just put this scroll to the side and say, "Come on, Kevin."
Kevin, do you like a uniform?
A you know what, sir?
Like some livery.
He asks what livery is.
We'll get you a nice hat. Come on, Kevin.
That does sound good.
I lead him outside.
Speaking of which, can I get my hat back?
Gus is already gone.
Gus,
In fact, on the way outside, I put it on Kevin.
Gus is gay, right?
Yeah.
At the sight of the woman outside, he's not gay anymore. That's how beautiful she is. She's standing up at the top of the ladder leading down, wearing riding clothes. She has this... Gus is not from the desert, is that correct? Or is he? I'd forgotten.
Gus, yeah, he that's where he's from.
He is,
He's from
okay.
that-
So you recognize her complexion and her hair color right away as being indicative of a sand elf. So she has this very pale but not white complexion that it seems to catch the sun in her skin, and her hair is shades of bright oranges tinged with brown. And when she looks down and sees you coming, she clasps her hands together and she's delighted. She says, "That's exactly the man I wanted to see. Good lad, good lad. Yes,
Gus
please,
kind of-
please climb up, and we have business to attend to, and I would like to get started immediately."
Please climb up.
Gus is going to bend down and says, "I'm going to go speak to the lady. Take the hat back inside and give it to Alex, and get one of them to come outside."
Kevin says, "Of course." He grabs the hat and puts it on and runs back to the barge.
Good lad. And I start to climb up the stairs. Or the ladder.
The whole time you're climbing up, this woman is talking to you. She tells you that she has a problem that she's told by one of her good friends in town that Flumph Inc. would be perfect to solve. She hears that you are perhaps the second or third best group of not yet famous detectives in Dunfoss. And I hear that most of you are magic users, but you are not, so you will do an excellent job looking after my beautiful horse. And when you get to the top of the ladder, there is this white stallion, saddled, gorgeous, gorgeous creature.
Mm-hmm.
And your job is to hold the reins and feed it apples while she goes down and talks to the adults.
Gus gives her the old finger guns and climbs back down the ladder.
Wait, where are you going? The apples are up here.